Hello and welcome to my channel, guys. Today I'm going to show you how to uh, create assume roles so that instead of giving access to users using IAM groups, which is also a best practice, you can actually use IAM roles. And with those roles, you can be able to actually remove the users from that role, those roles at any time. And you can add as many users to the roles as you want. So the first thing we are going to do here, I'm going to create new IAM users and I'm not going to give them any console. I'm not going to give them any permissions, but I will create a trust policy and add them to that role. So the first thing we're going to do, go to IAM. We've done a previous video on how you can create IAM users. So I'm not going to waste too much time on this. Go to create users. I'm going to call the user Paul. You just call it Paul and give them console access. Select that. We're going to use the second option that says I want to create IAM user. We're going to custom the password because I don't want to create a new password during the first login. So I'm going to be creating a new password for this user and uncheck user create new password at next login. Go next. We are not giving any permissions to this user. We are not adding them to any group. So go ahead and create the user. Perfect. So we've created a user called Paul. And we're going to create another user. Let's create another user called Peter. Let's create another user called Peter. And the same thing we did. Second option, custom the password. Uncheck user create new password. Next login. Go next. Also, we're not going to give any any permissions. Go ahead and create users. So the next thing we are going to do is create an IAM role for these users. So if you log in as these users at this moment, you have 0 permissions. So we are going to go to IAM roles. We're going to create roles. We're not creating a service role and we are not creating an account role. With an account role, you can create a cross account role, but we are creating a custom trust policy. That's what we are creating. A custom trust policy. It gives you example of a policy here. On the right, you can just say all actions on this policy, and it's going to ask you to add a principal. The principal here is going to be the user we created. Okay, so let's add one of the users as a principal to this role. How do I do that? So I will go to IAM to get the user ARN. I'm looking for users. Let me use Paul. Get the user ARN. User ARN. And where you have principal, I'm trying to create. Now, principals can be an IAM role as well as role sessions, as well as federated users. If you have users, third-party users, you can use it. So the principal in this case is an IAM user, right? So we're going to put Paul, and I'm going to do a comma because I want to also add Peter as one of the users. We go to users. This is Peter. Double click on him and look for the ARN right here. And what happened to added a principal called Peter. Let's also add Paul to that. So go to IAM dashboard, click on users, go to Paul, get his Paul's ARN name. Come here, you add another principal, then add principal. So you can add as many principals as you want by just clicking on add principal, and then, yep. And if you look at it, you can click next. Now we want to give administrator access to these two users. But remember, we are adding these permissions to the role we created, to the trust policy we created, right? We are not adding these permissions to the user. So I'll add administrator access. I will go to next. Let me name it as, I'll call it same account role. Go ahead, and if you look at it here, this is the trust, this is the policy. These are the two users I created, I added. You can look at it, and these are the two users I added, the two user ARNs. Now, the next thing is to create the role. So we have now created the trust policy. Here's the trust policy. Here's the trust policy. Here's the role. Here's the role we created. Here's the role we created. And if you click on, if you select the role we create, if you open the role, you're going to see something below that says trust relationship. If you click on trust relationship, you're going to see that we have these two users added. If you have more users, let's say a new users are trying to access their account, they need administrator access, you can simply get the new users ARN, do a comma here, and add it right here. Add it to these users, to these ARNs. So that's how you give access to users using roles. Now we are going to log in as one of these users. We're going to log in as Paul. Log in as Paul. Now to log in as users, IAM users, you need the account, you need the account ID. You need the account ID, remember. So I'm going to log out and log in as one of those users. But the thing about it, I need to first copy the role. I need to first copy that role because I'm going to log in as one of those users, and I'm going to switch roles after I log in. So the role was, this is the role, same account role. That's just a name. You can give a name that suits you. You can give your own name. Going to paste it here because I'm going to need it. Now, let me log out and log in back as that user. Now, sign into the console, sign in as an IAM user, and it will ask for the account name, account alias name. And then the IAM user I'm logging as is called Paul. I'm going to use the password and also log in as Peter if I want. So I'm now logging as Paul. I'm logging as Paul. But guess what? If I try to access anything, remember when I created those two users, they did not have any permission. So if I try to access anything, it will give me error, API error, because he has 0 permissions. Paul has 0 permissions. If you go back to verify, you will see that. Now, how do I give him permissions? Now, he has logged in as Paul, but I want him to switch role or assume a role. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to switch role. Go to where you see Paul's name over here. You click on it and click on switch role. Now, I will need the account ID, and I'm going to get the role name that I created, the trust policy I created. Bring it back here. Bring it back here, paste it here, and that's all. Switch role. Now, if I switch role, you will see that Paul now has permission. There's no more API error. So you log in as Paul, but you switch to this role called same account role. You log in as Paul and switch role in the same account. So Paul is now able to access stuff. Paul can access any service because the role I created has administrator access. So that is how you can give access to users using IAM trust policies or IAM roles. So users are able to assume those roles. Thank you for watching. And if you feel that this was helpful, you can subscribe for more. And if there's a particular service you want us to do a demo on it, also put it in the comment section so we can do that for you. Thank you so much.